Hello and welcome back to another episode of Handy Dandy Repairs. This is another customer repair. Today we are looking at a very big, very hefty, very expensive Asus Tough, I think it's a Tough Gaming 4090. As you can see, it has a piece sticking out of it. That is a right angle connector, right angle adapter, I believe a Cablemod one. And unfortunately that's stuck in the card because the connector has melted. So we're going to try and get that off somehow and replace the connector. So first things first, we're just going to get it torn apart and we can have a look at that. So this is the card. Very, very nice card. And we're just going to get it torn apart. Just going to grab the toolkit here. Going to grab this here so I can keep track of the screws a little bit easier. So now here is our card. Here is our motherboard. So this is the connector that we're looking at here. This connector here, if it wants to focus. So that's the connector. Just this small piece here. And then we've got the adapter inside it. So I'm just going to try and gently separate them if I can. Just pressing down on the tab and gently twisting back and forth. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. We might end up having to cut these legs off. But first things first, I'm just going to clean this thermal paste off so that we don't end up with that all over the place. Alright, how are we going to tackle this? I think we could probably orientate this in a way where we could get hot air in there just to preheat the board a little bit and then add some low melt solder. And then hopefully we can get that to pop out without having to try and separate this and worry about all that. So I'm just going to get this set up in a holder. A little bit hard to get the angle here, but we have these pins here as well as these 4 sense pins, and there's also 2 grounds there. I can't get a great view because of the connector that's in our way. I just realised now you're not even looking at the scope. This whole time you haven't even been looking at the scope. My God, I'm so bad at this. I'm so sorry. The sad thing is, this is one of those repairs that I was so excited for because it's something different for my channel, but it's also so common in terms of needing to be done. Oh, my flux is dried out. It's such a common fault that it needs to be fixed, but it's so new for my channel. I was so excited to record this video and I've completely stuffed up the recording. Is that going to come off with just isopropyl, or do I need to heat that back up? Might need to heat that back up just a little bit. Now we need a connector. I've got one of each style here, so you can maybe see there. So there's that one where the pins come out the bottom side, so that's pins go toward the sense pins. And then I've got the opposite where the pins go away from the sense pins. So the sense pins are on top of the connector or the bottom of the connector. And if we look at our old one, so this is the old one. It's a bit hard to tell from this sort of style, but a connector our sense pins are on the away, so it would be this one here where the sense pins are behind the connector. Connector goes out that way. Maybe get a better view from this angle here. The sense pins are on top like so, just like they are there. Got a H++. Just going to jump in here and say that I've actually looked into the difference between H+ and H++. So basically the H++ is the newer standard of cable, or newer standard of connector, sorry. It has longer pins for better engagement and to reduce the risk of melting and high current draw, etc., etc., and has shorter sense pins to make sure that the connector or the cable is fully seated in the connector. So the H++ is actually the newer, more improved, safer alternative to the H+ that we removed. But otherwise they're all the same. There we go. I'm going to press that up through the board. Make sure we go all the way up and sit flush. Which I believe we do. Yep, that is sitting beautifully flush. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use my angled tweezers, something like this, to just hold it up as tight as I can. And with a little bit of flux. Come in my iron, I'm going to clean my iron off because it'll have low melt solder on there. I'm just going to add our normal leaded solder. Just going to add a whole heap of it. So as we hold this in place, hopefully we can get a little bit of a tack on there, like so. Another one over here somewhere. One there, one there. There we go. Now I'm just going to come back through and preheat the board again. I'm just going to keep the air moving a lot so we don't melt the connector this time. A bit hard last time because we had the thing in the way, but this time we should be fine. Just going to keep it all moving, just to preheat the board just a little bit so that when we're soldering the through-hole connections, the solder goes all the way through the board. And gets a really good hold on it. Okay. Just going to quickly check the back side, and as you can see there, solder has come all the way through, but I wouldn't mind if it went up those legs a little bit more. So just to be absolutely sure, I am just going to preheat a touch more and do it one more time. I'm very happy with that. Yeah, that looks fine. It's come up the legs, especially on these sense pins, that look good, but you can see it has come up the leg on these as well. Now just with some IPA, just a very small amount of IPA. Just going to wipe this dust off these pads here. I'm actually quite shocked at how thick these pads are. They're like 2 and 3 mil pads, which is just seems crazy for me. Something that you want good cooling on seems just crazy to have such thick pads. I just assumed that thinner pads would transfer the heat better, but you know, could be wrong. Or maybe it's purely because of how massive this core is that there's really just nothing you can do about it. I mean, you could have designed the cooler to... Anyway, it's just how it's been done, I guess. Now that this is off the board, I wonder if we'd have any better chance of trying to break that out. Probably even less now that I've actually melted it. But, yeah. Melted the plastic tab as well. I was trying to get it off, but I don't think that was ever coming off anyway. And it is definitely Cablemod. It's got it written on there. If it wants to focus. There we go, Cablemod. So it is a Cablemod adapter. Pretty sure they were recalled actually. Okay, so now we need to put our phase change material on. Now I've gone with the Thermal Grizzly stuff. I quite like their stuff. It's also very affordable. Now, as you can see, we are way too big. Now the instructions say to cut it about 2 to 3 mil larger than the die. Peel off one layer. Press that down gently. Wait 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, it's been 3 minutes now, so we should be able to peel this off pretty comfortably. Okay. So now we can put our cooler back on. Now we can set that on here, like so. And we can install our screws for the cooler. Now this needs a very thorough clean. Okay, that's looking much better now. So we can go ahead and get that installed. Okay, and that's it. That is the card finished. At least everything we had to do finished. So the only thing left to do is to test it. So I'm going to have to go ahead and get my test bench all set up. And we're back. So it's actually been a couple of days since I did this repair. I had to order in a new 12-volt high power connector from the power supply because I could not find it anywhere. But it's here, I've got it, so now we can test. So I've got the test bench up and running. I'll just show you that here. So that's my test bench. At the moment it's just running on the onboard graphics just for testing purposes, just to make sure that the computer is all working okay before I go ahead and try the graphics card. So I just wanted to make sure it all booted up okay. So I'm just going to shut it down. And then we can go ahead and get that plugged in and set up and go from there. Okay, so we've got our 12-volt high power plugged in. We're all connected up. I'm just going to move my HDMI from the motherboard to the GPU. If it has a HDMI connector. I think they're all display port. Oh no, there's a HDMI there. Beautiful. So we'll just plug that in there. Now we can turn our power supply back on and boot the computer. So we do have an image, so the graphics card is working, so that's good. We are definitely going to have to update drivers and whatnot. Okay, so we've restarted, we've got our drivers up to date. I'm just going to run a stress test through Furmark. GPU stress test. We can set this to 4K resolution. So we're sitting at 72 and 85 on the hotspot, which isn't too bad. It's a little bit more variance than I would like, but again, it's going to take, I think the instructions set up to 10 heat cycles to really give the ultimate efficiency and effectiveness, so to speak. So it's not too bad. We should see that drop though. Okay, we've been through quite a few heat cycles now, and it seems to have pretty much evened out. Our GPU is at 68 degrees, and our hotspot is at 79. So we're 11 degrees off, which isn't too bad. And those temperatures are well within the spec that I would expect. So that's it. That is definitely working, definitely fixed. I'm happy. Hopefully the customer's happy too. And if you enjoy this video, you have something you need repaired, maybe you have the same thing that needs the same repair, let me know. Down my details are down in the description. You can get in touch with me there. And hit the like, subscribe, bell notifications, stay up to date. We will see you in the next one.